In today's video, we are going to begin looking at something called a system of equations. Now, systems of equations are our last topic that we'll be studying in algebra this year, and so we're going to kind of get started on that today. So what we mean by a system of equations is we mean that we have more than one equation. Could be 2, could be 3, could be 10, but for Algebra 1, we just stick with 2 equations. And so a system of equations is 2 equations like we have here. 2x minus 5y equals negative 16. That's an equation. Y equals 2x plus 8. That's an equation. What we're trying to do is we're trying to find an ordered pair, a value for x and y that will not only make the first equation true, so in other words, when we plug in the number for x and the number for y, we get negative 16. We also want that same ordered pair to make this second equation true, so that when we plug in for x and plug in for y, we get the same number on both sides. So what you're going to do today is, instead of trying to solve these yet, you're just going to tell me whether or not an ordered pair is a solution to that system of equations. And so for this first example, we're going to test to see if negative 3, 2 is a solution to 2x minus 5y equals negative 16. And we're also going to check to see if it's a solution to y equals 2x plus 8. If it's a solution for both of those, then we'll say it's a solution to that system of equations. All right, so let's see if negative 3, 2 is a solution to 2x minus 5y equals negative 16. So if you replace the x with negative 3 and the y with a 2, do you get negative 16 for an answer? All right, so if we replace the x with a negative 3, we get negative 6. If we replace the y with a 2, we get minus 10. So it's negative 6 minus 10, and sure enough, that equals negative 16. So the first equation is true. Okay, if we replace the y with a 2, and if we replace the x with a negative 3, is the second equation true? Okay, if we replace the y with a 2, now our equation is going to say, oh, didn't mean to put it there. It's going to say 2 equals 2 times negative 3 plus 8. Is that true? Yes, it is. 2 does equal 2 times negative 3 plus 8. So both of these equations are true, and so therefore, yes, this is a solution. And so that's what we would answer. Yes, it is. All right, so that's what you're going to be working on today. Now, not all of the problems are set up exactly like this. Some of them are set up more as a multiple choice, where it says which of these points are a solution to this system of equations, but you're still going to do the same thing. So you will try to start with, you'll try to plug in 0 for x and 4 for y, and you'll see if that works out, if that gives you a solution. If it does, that's the one you'll mark. You'll also try 3, 1. You'll also try 4, 4. Now, keep in mind, you may have more than one possible solution. So just because it works, one point works, you still need to try the others, because you may have more than one that works in that system of equations. So I want you to try out letter A first. Is letter A a solution to that system of equations? So for the first equation, it's pretty easy. All we have to do is replace the y. And so if we replace the y with a 4, that's true. And so the first equation is true for letter A. Is the second equation true when you put in 0 for x and 4 for y? Okay, when we put in 0 for x and 4 for y, we get 0 minus 4, that equals 8. That's not true. So this one was true the first time, but it was false the second time. So this is not a solution. Okay, what about 3 and 1? Is it a solution? Okay, when we plug it into the first one, it is not a solution, because we plug 1 in for y. It says 1 equals 4. That's false. At that point, we really don't need to try the second one, because we already know it's not going to be true for both of them. However, if we had tried the second one, it would have been true. But again, it doesn't really matter, because as long as one of them is false, it doesn't matter. So B is not a solution. Okay, what about C? Is C a solution? Okay, it is, because when we plug in 4 for y into the top equation, 4 does equal 4. Okay, so the first one is true. Okay, when we plug in 4 and 4 into the second equation, 3 times 4 minus 4, that does equal 8. And so that's true. And so that's the one that's a solution. So this time we only had one point that works. But remember, as you do your assignment, you may have some times where you have more than one possible answer. So keep that in mind. All right, so that's what you're going to be doing today, is you are going to be testing to see whether points are solutions to systems of equations. And so again, if you have any questions about that, make sure you reach out with email or reach out through Canvas Messenger. But that's all we have for today. So good luck, and that's the end.